नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Yeah, so reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 16, text 55 to 59. Mataji, can you switch off Prabhupada Japa? Can you switch off? So text 55 to 59. So I'll read the Sanskrit first and then we can read the translations together. Pratilabdendriya prana kaliya shanakair harim kritsrat samuchvasan deenah krishnam praha kritanjalihi Kalya uvacha vayam khala sahotpatya tamasa dirghamanvayavah swabhavo duschado nata lokanam yadasadgraha tvaya srishtam idam vishwam dhatar tuna visarjanam nana swabhava virayajau yoni bija shayakriti vayam cha tatra bhagavan sarpa jati urumanvayah katam tyajyam stvanmayam tustyajam mohitasvayam Bhavan hi karanam tatra sarvagyo jagadishwarah anugraham nigraham va manyase tadvidehinah. So the translations go like this. Translation and purport by the humble disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Kaliya slowly regained his vital force and sensory functions. Then, breathing loudly and painfully, the poor serpent addressed Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in humble submission. The serpent Kaliya said, "Our very birth as a snake has made us envious, ignorant, and constantly angry. Oh my Lord, it is so difficult for people to give up their conditioned nature, by which they identify with that which is unreal. O Supreme Creator, it is you who generate this universe composed of the variegated arrangement of the material modes. And in the process, you manifest various kinds of personalities and species, varieties of sensory and physical strength, and varieties of mothers and fathers with variegated mentalities and forms. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, among all the species within your material creation, we serpents are by nature always enraged. Being thus deluded by your illusory energy, which is very difficult to give up, how can we possibly give it up on our own? O Lord, since you are the omniscient Lord of the universe, you are the actual cause of freedom from illusion. Please arrange for us whatever you consider proper, whether it be mercy or punishment." According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Lord Krishna, upon reaching his decision, immediately jumped down from Kaliya's hoods and stood before the serpent and his wives. We should remember that when Lord Krishna executed these pastimes, he was just a young village boy in Vrindavan. Srila Sanatana Goswami points out that because of his wretched condition, Kaliya was unable to compose original prayers to the Lord, and thus he paraphrased some of the prayers offered by his wives. The word asadgraha indicates that a conditioned soul seizes upon impermanent and impure things such as his own body, the bodies of others, and other countless varieties of material sense objects. The ultimate result of such material attachment is frustration, disappointment, and anguish, a fact that has now become crystal clear to the poor serpent Kaliya. Commenting on this verse, Srila Madhvacharya has quoted the Narada Purana as follows: From Hiranyagarbha, Brahma comes the second creation of this universe, but the universe is primarily created by Vishnu himself. Vishnu is thus the primary creator, and four-headed Brahma is merely the secondary creator. Kaliya is here indirectly begging for the Lord's mercy, realizing that on his own he can never become free from illusion and suffering. Only by surrendering to the Lord and obtaining his mercy can one be released from the painful conditions of material life. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsham He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं जय निताय गौरप्रेमानन्दे. So here we are assembled on this morning again for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So thank you for this opportunity, everyone, for me to be here and try to share something, because Srimad Bhagavatam class is not like a place where we share information or hear information or discuss information. Rather, here we are to install Krishna in our hearts, because yesterday we heard about Krishna. So it's the natural tendency of the conditioned soul to forget what is the aim of life, who am I, what is my connection with Krishna. So continuously we get covered with so many ways of illusion in this material world. So again, every day we are trying to remind ourselves who we are, who is Krishna, what is our primary function. Our primary function is to serve and please Krishna. And that's what we are trying to instill in our hearts by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. And so that is our prayer today, that through this process of sharing here, that this particular attitude of service to Krishna and devotees be instilled in our hearts. So with this sincere prayer, so this pastime has been like going on for a few weeks. So I heard many classes. I also missed some classes. So if at all I repeat some things, please understand that the purpose is not to give some unique information. Rather, it's my meditation on Krishna, and it's all of our meditation on Krishna today. So here this pastime has been going on for a few weeks. So we have seen many speakers explain the pastime very nicely with so many details. So it is 7:30 almost. So here, the first verse that we have today, so here we see Shukadeva Goswami is addressing Parikshit Maharaj, saying that Kaliya was actually slowly, he has become like regained his vital force and sensory functions, because he had become very tired because Krishna was dancing on his heads, and at the same time he was also punishing him through that process. So some of the acharyas say how Krishna is like a blue lotus. He's very soft, he's very fragrant, he's very light. A lotus is not heavy, it's like very light. So Krishna is like that blue lotus, but while remaining a blue lotus, light and a beautiful and handsome, small and a young boy, however, Kaliya was receiving the lotus feet of Krishna on his head like thunderbolts. So Krishna is both heavy as well as light. So here in this pastime also we see he is like that blue lotus, but he is dancing on the hoods of Kalia, and Kalia is feeling Krishna's lotus feet as thunderbolts, and he was actually heavy at the same time on Kalia. So Kalia was like very tired, and he's regained his vital force and sensory functions, and he's breathing loudly and painfully. So this pain is not the pain of ego. This pain is just the bodily pain, because in his heart he has become very humble. So that's what we see here: humble submission, kritanjali. He has actually become very, very humble. So he is addressing Krishna with a very humble heart. So Srila Madhvacharya writes how when a person receives punishment from Krishna, if he understands, okay, I did committed some mistakes and for which Krishna is punishing me, so let me become humble and correct my behavior, accept my mistakes. So then he becomes a pious soul. He becomes qualified for Krishna's mercy. However, if a person, when he receives the punishment of Krishna, still becomes inimical towards Krishna and his devotees and remains egoistic, then he does not receive the mercy of Krishna. So here we see Kaliya is punished by Krishna. So, and we see that is mercy. It is mercy in always from Krishna's side, it is mercy. Whatever he does, whether it is punishing or whether it is rewarding, it is always mercy from Krishna's angle, from Krishna's side. So how is the person perceiving it? So if the person on the other side receiving Krishna's mercy, if he feels it as mercy, then it is actually good for him. Otherwise, it is not. Because we see so many other people have received mercy of Krishna in various ways. Right in Vrindavan, so many demons had come. So not all of them actually saw Krishna's punishment as mercy when they were dying or when they were being treated harshly by Krishna, because Krishna was like beating them, or Krishna was like for Keshi demon, he put his hand inside his mouth, and Krishna's hand was like a burning rod in the mouth of Keshi. And Keshi was not thinking, oh, this is Krishna's mercy. Or Agasur, Krishna was expanding, and Krishna, he was blocking the life air of Agasur. And Agasur was not thinking, oh, this is mercy of Krishna. Putana was not thinking like that, this is mercy of Krishna. But here Kaliya is realizing in his mind. He has finally realized, oh, this is the Supreme Lord. So he has become humble. And that is why Kaliya is very, very fortunate. Because Kaliya, in the next chapters, we will see what happened. Why did Kaliya actually come and reside in Vrindavan? So one of the main reasons was like Garuda. And Garuda is a devotee. And Sanatan Goswami says in Brihad Bhagavatam that during when Krishna was dancing on Kaliya, the one reason was that he was punishing Kaliya. The other reason was he has never met the gopis until this point in seclusion. So they kind of exchanged glances. He is also very young at this point of time. And they exchanged glances. However, they never have met in seclusion. So he is trying to show to all the gopis that, see how I'm dancing. So it's like showing off a little bit. He's trying to attract them. So he's like kind of very flamboyantly trying to dance on Kaliya's hoods and then trying to show to the gopis. Would you like to, means this is just the preview. Something very special is coming up. So Ras Leela, you will see me dancing with you, but this is what is my dancing. So, and the gopis are like really, really enjoying Krishna dancing on Kaliya. So at this point of time, Krishna is just 4 years and approximately 10 months when he is dancing on Kaliya. So a sweet little boy dancing, and he's like trying to show off to the gopis, attract their minds. And Kaliya pastime is also very similar to another pastime of Krishna and Vrindavan, which will come later, which is Govardhan Leela. The similarity between these two pastimes are all the rasas are present in these pastimes. In Govardhan Leela, under the umbrella of Govardhan, for 7 continuous days, all the Vrajvasis they were spending time with Krishna. There was Vatsalya Leela, Ras, because Mother Yashoda, all the elder Gopas, Gopis, Nanda Maharaj, they were all there. And there was Sakya Ras, because all the friends of Krishna was there. And gopis were there. The Madhurya Ras was also there. So Krishna was exchanging glances and all of those things. And so similarly here in this Kaliya Leela also, whole of Braj has come to the banks of Ganges in Kaliya Hrida. So Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, they are all like so much in anxiety that Krishna is like dealing with this serpent. So they are all like a little bit unconscious. Some of them are unconscious. Some of them are like so much in anxiety that they are not realizing what is happening. And the Gopas are also similarly in anxiety. There is one person, Balramji, he is smiling. He's smiling because he's seeing, oh, this water snake is and Krishna is dancing on this water snake, but he never bothered to dance on my head as Anantasesh. I have bigger hoods and I have such better mood. Krishna never performed dance on me. But here it's just a water snake and Krishna is dancing on his, what kind of a mercy he is having. And he is also actually at one point when Krishna was in the coils of Kaliya for a very long time, Balramji was trying to hold everyone. In that verse, he is called as Bhagavan because he was expanding and holding each and every Vrajvasi from jumping into Yamuna. Because they were all like, if I hold one person, the other person will jump. So he expands and holds everybody individually. That is why he is called as Balaramji, Bhagavan here in that verse. And Balramji at one point, he is unable to manage, seeing that they will probably leave their bodies in such anxiety for Krishna. So Balramji actually shouts to Krishna saying, stop this. What are you doing? Like, how long you will do this drama? I understand, like, you are like in the embrace of Kaliya and nothing will happen to you. But understand, these are not Mathura Vasis or these are not Vaikuntha Vasis. These are not your Hastinapur Vasis. These are Vrindavan Vrajvasis. They really think you're a small boy. So if you just remain for some more time, they'll just leave their body. Come out, stop your drama. Then what is the next thing? What are you going to do? So, and that is when Krishna comes out and then he starts dancing. And when he's dancing, Balramji is smiling. Oh my God, Kaliya is having such mercy. I never received this. And then and Krishna is showing off to all the gopis. And Sanatana Goswami says, Krishna actually at one point, because all the other Vrajvasis are in so much anxiety, he just picks up the gopis and he performs Ras Leela on the heads of Kaliya. So just imagine, like, and if you say, okay, how are the others not noticing? They are in so much anxiety, they are not realizing that the gopis are missing and they're all dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. So Krishna expands himself and dances with all the gopis right on the heads of the Kaliya. And this fortune does not even is available to Garuda, who's the enemy of Kaliya, because of whom Kaliya came to Vrindavan. So Kaliya is so fortunate because of his mood, because he had the connection with the Nagapatnis and he personally became humble and became devoted. And that is why he is subdued. He's not killed. So that is also such a very special thing. Prabhupada titles this chapter as Subduing Kaliya. He had told many things. He could have told in many other ways. But here it is like subduing Kaliya. Why Kaliya got subdued? Actually, some of the acharyas say it is not Kaliya who got subdued. It is not just Kaliya who got subdued. Krishna also got subdued. How? How did Krishna get subdued? Krishna got subdued through the bhakti of Kaliya. Because Krishna killed all other demons. So he could have also killed Kaliya. But the devotion of the Nagapatnis and the transformation of the heart of Kaliya, as soon as Krishna realized this person has transformed his heart, bhakti has entered this person's heart, and the Nagapatnis are praying on his behalf. As soon as bhakti came into that picture, Krishna became subdued. Krishna got conquered. Krishna's mood changed. Krishna changed his attitude from punishing Kaliya to dancing on the heads of Kaliya with the gopis. And this is the potency of bhakti. We are all also not perfect. We have Kaliya represents a Sakama Bhakta, a devotee who is practicing bhakti but is also filled with lots of fault finding, is like filled with this attitude of envy towards others. One of the primary aspects of envy is it lacks mercy towards others. It's like ruthless. For themselves, anything is okay. When it comes to others, we'll be very strict. We'll apply severe rules when it comes to others, but when it comes to ourselves, we'll give ourselves great liberty. So that's an aspect of envy because it lacks mercy. We don't care for others. problems. We just care for our own things. So that is one aspect of dvesha, envy, because it lacks mercy. And there is this very nice verse which is in the Narada Purana, says, Papinam papa gananam ya karoti naradama astitve tulya papisyan mityatve dvigunam varet. Papinam papa gananam. Papinam means people who are sinful. Among them, papinam papa gananam, one who counts the mistakes of others, faults of others. Ganana means counter. So a fault finder's name is Papa Ganana, one who counts the faults of others, one who counts the sins of others. So this verse says, Papinam Papa Gananam, among all kinds of sinful people, one who's the lowest is the one who counts the faults of others. Astitve tulya papisyan. If the particular fault that we are finding with the other person is actually true, then we get the same sinful reaction that that person will actually receive for that fault. However, if our fault finding is wrong, mityaitve, if in case our finding of the fault in the other person is wrong, there was no fault, it is just our perception. If that is the case, then we get twice. Dvigunam varet. We get twice the sinful reactions that that person might suffer for that mistake. So this is what is a fault finder's destination. And who is a fault finder? Who is a Papa Ganana? Who is the counter of the sinful reactions in this universe? It is Yamaraja's assistant Chitragupta. So he sits and records all the mistakes that one does. So Chitragupta also has many assistants. So in our lives, if we just focus on the faults of others, we keep counting all the faults, we become an assistant of Chitragupta. So that is not like a very, like a very great position to aspire for. So whenever we find faults with others and then count it eagerly, we should understand we are trying to be the servants of Chitragupta. However, our real master is Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is a doshadarshi. He does not see the faults of others. So who would we like to be our master? One who counts the faults of us, or one who does not, or one who overlooks our faults? Because we all have faults. We are all filled with faults. So what kind of master we will choose? We will choose Chitragupta, or we will choose Lord Nityananda. So we will choose obviously Nityananda, because Adosha Darshi Mora Prabhu Nityananda na bajinu hena Prabhu Charana Arvinda. So here the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing in this place, Adosha Darshi Mora Prabhu Nityananda. Means Lord Nityananda is Adosha Darshi. He never sees faults in others. And that is why we should consider him as our Lord. Because we are like Jagai and Madai had so many faults, but Lord Nityananda did not see that. He still recommended mercy for them. So that is why we should consider Lord Nityananda as a real Lord and try to be his assistants. How do we be his assistants? How do we be his assistants? By not finding faults with others, but seeing the good qualities of others. When we see the good qualities in others and actually in our hearts or express appreciation for others' good qualities, then Nityananda Prabhu becomes merciful to us, because we are trying to follow in his footsteps. We are trying to be the followers of Nityananda Prabhu, trying to follow in his footsteps. So in that way, we can become servants of Nityananda by not just finding faults, rather appreciating the good things in others. So in our lives, we all have this choice, a decision to make, whether I want to assist Chitragupta in counting faults of others, or I want to Nityananda Prabhu in not trying to see the faults of others, but trying to see the good qualities and share Krishna consciousness with them. So the main aspect of this pastime is that how when devotion appeared, when humility appeared in the hearts of Kaliya's life became different. Krishna's attitude towards Kaliya changed. Krishna's attitude to his decision to punish Krishna changed, and he just left him because Nagapatni is also intervened. So that is the advantage of practicing bhakti. We may not be perfect. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, even if my devotee is performs some abominable activities, he does not. Usually a devotee will not perform. Even if performs, Krishna is giving an Atisyokti. Even if he performs an abominable activity, it is not that Krishna is saying, oh, my devotees will always perform abominable activities and I'll keep forgiving them. That is not the idea. Krishna is exaggerating to say how merciful he is to his devotees. Even if my devotee performs apichetsu duracharo, bhajate mam ananyabhak, but he is exclusively dedicated to Krishna. If he is exclusively taking shelter of Krishna as the Supreme Lord, and he is fixed in his devotion to Krishna, means in his own heart, he understands very clearly that Krishna is my Lord and devotion is my emotion towards Krishna, and this is my eternal duty towards Krishna. This is my eternal nature. If he understands that, bhajate manam ananyabhak sadhur eva samantavya, he should be considered saintly. Samyak vyavasito hisayah. Because Kshipram bhavati dharmatma, he will become a perfect person very quickly. Because Krishna will punish him, and because he is humble, he will realize his mistake and transform his heart. He will consider that punishment as Krishna's mercy, and then tattenu kampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. So he will accept that punishment of Krishna as mercy and will not think, oh, this is why is Krishna doing this to me? He will not think like that. So with that kind of an attitude, he will transform his heart, and that is why there is hope. That is why there is actually hope for a devotee. Even if we are not perfect, we will be now we have this benefit. So whenever we have challenges in life, we receive punishments of Krishna in various ways. What we need to do is we need to accept the situation. First, we need to accept that there are mistakes on my part. What is Krishna trying to teach me through this punishment that I'm receiving? It could be that we are being handled harshly by somebody else. It could be so many other things. So if we can see, maybe assertively, we should also try to make sure that we are not being abused by anybody in a particular situation. In Kali Yuga, you have to give all these disclaimers because the society is and the attitudes are so fallen that at the same time people are also foolish. They don't understand what is tolerance and what is being and letting others abuse us. They don't see, because we are also ignorant. We don't even have this common sense. So all these disclaimers have to be continuously put on the side, because when these days, whenever a person sells a product, there is like a page of disclaimers. This product should not be inserted in your nose, it should not be inserted in your ears, it should not, come on, but they are fearful because people can do anything stupid and then blame them. So similarly, when we speak about philosophy, it needs to be applied intelligently. Still, we need to give some disclaimers because people are foolish in this age. So whenever we go through difficult situations in our lives, we should accept the situation as Krishna's mercy and adjust the behavior if there is any that we need to change in ourselves, and aspire for Krishna's connection, stronger connection, by practicing devotional service. So in this way, we will be able to actually see, even if there are difficulties coming our way, we can actually see it as Krishna's mercy and make it more favorable for our devotional service. And this is just the first verse, and it's already 45. Let me stop here. So thank you very much. So if there are other devotees who would like to share anything, please feel free to.
Hi.
Hare Krishna. So here,
great class, but I was just wondering.
When you said "but," I'm a little fearful.
Okay, right, makes you worry. Yeah, I know. No, I just when you mentioned you want a master who sees the good in you, isn't so self-righteous. Doesn't say that you're guilty of this. Sees your good qualities. But don't you want a master who also points out things you're doing wrong and faults that you should correct? That's why I was a little confused over there. If you could just go into that a little bit.
Very, very nice question. Thank you so much. So we are saying Lord Nityananda does not see our faults. But if a master does not see our faults and does not correct our faults, how will we get better? So it is a very, very deep question, because the purpose of surrendering to a spiritual master is he can hold our ears. That is why we need to have spiritual master, living spiritual master. There are many people with false philosophy saying we will take shelter of past acharyas. Like I'll get initiated from Srila Prabhupada. Once a friend of mine met another person from these Ritviks in a bus, and then that person came and challenged, who are you now? Who are you initiated by? This my friend asked him again, like saying, who are you initiated by? He said, I'm a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he's a very young boy. So naturally he understood he's from this Ritvik philosophy. So then he asked, who are you initiated by? He said, by Srila Rupa Goswami. I'm a disciple of Rupa Goswami. He said, huh? How is it possible you can be a disciple of Rupa Goswami? There was another friend of mine sitting next to him, and he asked, who are you initiated by? He said, by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He said, how is it possible that you guys could be initiated by? They said, if you could be initiated by Srila Prabhupada, and if Srila Prabhupada could do this after his passing, his spiritual master and all the other acharyas, they can also do that. So I just took my initiation from the photograph of Srila Rupa Goswami. He took from the photograph of Bhaktisiddhanta. This boy was completely like kind of blown. He didn't know what to answer. He just like walked away. So here, the advantage of taking shelter of spiritual master, one of the functions of a spiritual master is hold our ears and like turn it when we're actually doing mistake and point to it and correct. So that is the thing. Lord Nityananda
Kicked in the chest.
of
One of the devotees who was made.
Shivananda Sen.
Yeah.
Shivananda Sen. So Adipurush Prabhu is saying how Lord Nityananda also in other places, he gets angry and he just kicks the chest of Shivananda Sen. Not just that, he curses that all your 5 sons will die. And his wife begs forgiveness and all that. So it is a different mode. So in sticking to this particular question that Prabhu just asked, so it is not, when he says that he overlooks our faults, that does not mean that he lets us remain with our faults. Usually we think correction only happens by pointing out and being only harsh. That is also one way that also spiritual master is open to do. However, when we see how fallen we are and still this person is giving us mercy, transformation of heart can happen not just always by chastisement. Transformation of heart can also be inspired by gratitude. I'm so fallen, still this master of mine is merciful to me. Why not I become better? Why not I transform myself, give up my nonsense? So that transformation of heart can be effected by both ways. Chastisement is one of the way, and the other way is also just seeing how is this person not seeing how fallen I am and still being so merciful? I don't deserve this. Let me become better for his pleasure. Let me transform my heart for his service. So that kind of a transformation is the goal. The miscreants are put in jail to transform their character. It's called a correction facility. But if it does not happen, so then the purpose of the jail is defeated. Similarly, the purpose of the spiritual masters, either chastisement or love, they are both different ways and applied in different circumstances according to the person on the other side, depending on the surrender of the particular person, the disciple, depending on the attitude of the particular person. Whether love or chastisement coming through spiritual master, it is all mercy. We should not get puffed up when he is being nice to us. Oh, I'm so great. That's why my spiritual master is appreciating me. We are rascals, but sometimes we are such rascals that just chastising us might not work. So then the spiritual master lovingly points it out. And if we are intelligent enough, we will accept this and see the faults in us and transform us, become qualified for that, even though we can never be qualified for that mercy, but we actually try to transform our hearts. That's the price we pray for, the mercy that we receive, whether it is chastisement or it is love that's coming from the spiritual master. It's always mercy. And the idea is, and how it will be mercy from our side, only by transforming our character. If the chastisement comes and then we still don't transform our hearts, then that is not mercy from our side, how we receive it. And if love comes, we become puffed up, then also we are being now carried away. Either love comes or chastisement comes, seeing it as the mercy of the spiritual master and trying to qualify ourselves by transforming our characters and being the same way, not seeing others' faults and trying to help them and transform them. That is one way we repay the mercy that we receive. And in our own lives, making Krishna the main object of devotion selflessly, and then giving that to others. And through that way, we can actually receive that mercy, either through chastisement or through that. Does that answer your question? Okay, here there is another question from the live audience. Yes, Rupesh bro.
People online.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I don't know, I read somewhere, but I might be totally wrong. So my forgiveness, you should beg the forgiveness. But sharing this on a humble note, that I guess there are different stages of instruction. The first or instruction are different stages of kind of self-reflection, or whatever you say, teaching or Guru Diksha or whatever, Siksha or whatever. So first, I think is the total surrender, which comes from reverence. So it's the reflection of the soul, reverence, and what happens is through the reverence and surrender. You need not. It's not on the human level or the consciousness level. It's the soul that is actually doing it. That's what we're doing. It's called that Krishna consciousness. You automatically transform the soul. So that is the reverence or surrender level. The second is the reflection level, wherein you reflect at the mental level or the consciousness level, and you get transformed through your consciousness. So that's the second level of or reflection and comparison of what the Guru is doing, or learning from the Guru on a mental level. And the third is what is called instruction level, where the Guru is instructing, oh, this is the right way to do through his actions actually, and you need not even explain through his actions. The fourth is like actually the correction, wherein he kinds of pulls our ear and corrects. And the fifth is like the punishment that Krishna is doing on the failure. So there are different levels. So we should always aim for the highest, which is total surrender, wherein our soul transfers than the human or material.
Thank you. Thank you, Rupesh. So hearing what Rupesh shared, I'm just remembering Prabhupada shared something very similar. He said first class disciple, second class disciple, like that. So one who just observes, hears and understands and follows, he is considered a first class disciple. But one who's has to be told and then he follows. But the third class is like one who hears but still does not follow. So there are. That is my reflection. Here is a question from Karthik Prabhu in follow-up. So thank you. Related to our angel's question, does a guru inherit the negative reactions of his disciples when he chastises them? What about parents correcting their children? So if a guru chastises his disciple with means to correct them, to benefit them, he will not inherit any negative reactions. It's not the anger. It's like we being controlled by anger is different than a guru using anger to correct his disciples. So we are being used by anger and he is using anger to actually correct. So Srila Prabhupada at times, like there was this sweet pastime with Bhakti Charan Maharaj. He was, Prabhupada was very sick towards his last days. And suddenly Srila Prabhupada said, I want to have orange juice. And in those days in Vrindavan, the temple was very secluded, very like far away. And the main city was a little far, and he did not have any oranges in stock. And Vrindavan in 1970s is not like you have a supermarket where you can just the daily store next door. You can just walk in and get a bag of oranges. So he sent someone to go all the way because he has to take care of other things for Prabhupada. So he sent someone, and that person has to take a rickshaw or walk all the way and then buy and then get back. And so it was taking time. After 10 minutes or so, Prabhupada started ringing his bell. And Bhakti Charan Maharaj, being such a sincere servant and such a dedicated servant, he understands the mood of Prabhupada the way bell rings. He understands whether he is angry or how it is normal. Just the way the bell was ringing, he was like really understanding that Prabhupada is like angry that it's getting delayed. He goes and tells Prabhupada, I'm very sorry, we are making this arrangement, it's going to happen. How long are you taking? So after 10 minutes, again, the bell is ringing. And it's like, he's not even going in this time because he's just thinking it's come. And the third time when he's ringing, he's actually making it. He's telling, he's sending message, Prabhupada, it's coming. And finally, after 40 minutes or so, he makes the orange juice and then he rushes and then takes it, and then Prabhupada says, I don't want it. So it's almost like 45 minutes and Prabhupada says, I don't want it anymore. And he's like looking in another direction. And and Bhakti Charan Maharaj put the plate before Prabhupada, and he told Prabhupada, you have all the right to be angry at me because I'm such a stupid servant. I could not serve you on right time. So you have all the right to be angry at me. However, there is no need for you to not drink this. So you can still drink this and be angry with me, no problem. So he's like, and then Srila Prabhupada, and then he's like shedding tears. And Srila Prabhupada turns, and Bhakti Charan Maharaj is seeing there is tears in Prabhupada's eyes also. So he picks up and he drinks and keeps, and then he says, I'm such an old man. Old people actually get cranky. So don't mind. You're such a sincere person. You're trying to serve me so nicely, but I'm just getting angry with you. So don't take it very seriously. I'm just an old person. Old people get cranky. So don't mind this, what I just told you. So sometimes on a human level also some things can happen. Ultimately, Guru is an expansion of the Supreme Lord. Is non-different from this Paramatma. He's the external manifestation of the Paramatma. He's the manifestation of Balaramji. So that is what we are accessing. And so when the mercy comes, when there is chastisement, he is not going to receive any reactions for it or anything. What about parents correcting their children? If the parents are like honestly well-wishers of the children, and if they are not egoistic, they are also not caught up in the attitude of ego or like controlling and all these things, if they are free and they are matured and in a loving way, or whenever they understand the mood of their children, when to say, what to say, and how to say, if they understand that and they do it, so forget about the negative reactions that they will inherit. What about the relationship with your children? What you will receive the negative in a reaction and suffer for that should not be the problem of that should not be the worry of a parent at this point of time. How is it going to affect your child? How is it going to affect your relationship with your child? And how are you going to help your child transform? What's the use if the operation is successful and the patient is dead? So the correction, the purpose of correcting is to facilitate the other person's transformation. So correct in a way that your child can realize their mistake and transform themselves. So there is no point of correcting for the sake of correcting. So forget about the negative reactions, save your relationship, transform your child, and be happy with them. So that is most important. And that's what we need to learn also. So thank you all. It's almost 8 o'clock. So here there is Adipurush Prabhu. We'll just turn it to him to share some wisdom that Krishna is inspiring him today to share. And whenever the shank blows, we will put you on for darshan.
Hare Krishna, marvelous class, really perfect. Very wonderful question about whether or not we receive reaction. Of course, we know Scripture says you should not become guru, you should not become spouse, you should not become teacher or government official unless we're prepared to deliver our constituents, our children, our spouse from repeated birth and death. So the reaction is there for a teacher who does not tell his students devotional service is an option. Please take to this. If we tell them and they don't do it, we have to give them freedom. But if we don't tell them, we don't accept the responsibility of leading by our personal example and reminding them that we have a choice to give our whole life to the service of the Lord. If we don't tell them, then the reactions will come. Right, so very important question. And this story is the Nagapatnis, who are the spouse of Kaliya. They're appealing. They are advocates. They're appealing to Krishna on behalf of their husband. Please give him the mercy. So sweet. And it says that if we engage in devotional service, our whole family for many generations will be liberated. So we have the possibility of instructing someone or really uplifting them just by engaging in devotional service ourselves. How wonderful is Krishna. We're here to glorify the Lord. How wonderful is Krishna that he's allowing the mercy to come. Oh, glory to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Okay, wonderful class. I was praying to Krishna that Krishna, if you have to chastise me, please chastise me through devotees like Gaura Sharan. He's got all the disclaimers down. He's got the compassion. It's a great class. Thank you, Gaura Sharan.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
thank you.
thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, this is the afterglow. If anyone would like to share or reflect, now is the time. Nothing to share. Then we'll say how wonderful is Krishna. Then we're going to wish everyone a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, we want to fan the spark rather than focusing on someone's faults. William, don't focus on my faults. Fan my spark. Okay. Hare Krishna. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you for joining.